Bentornati.
Welcome back. Let's resume the works for the second half of our morning together. I ask Sandro Veronesi, chair of Calcedonia, to join me here on the floor.
Dalla ricerca accurata dei tessuti, alla maestria nella scelta dei colori e nella realizzazione di ogni capo. Design impeccabile ad un prezzo accessibile, valorizzando il corpo e lo spirito. Aiutiamo ogni donna a risplendere, perché ogni donna è bella a modo suo. Oltre la forma, oltre la funzionalità. Creato per la bellezza.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Welcome back, Sandro. You've already joined us a few years ago. It's a pleasure for us to have you here again. Shall we talk about this ad or this video? Yes, the video is necessary not now, but it talks about what we want to do afterwards. Well, in this moment of lockdown, we wondered, okay, what do we want to do later on? We have talked all together and we said, okay, we have to understand what we want to be and who we will have to be. The beauty of women has, the perception of the beauty of women has changed. Also, underwear is different now from what we were used to buying before. We have committed to this activity in-house. And this is what we are doing, okay? I have bought only here the one for Intimissimi, but we are doing that for all our brands. So two things. What are we doing now? We are trying to actually manage uncertainty, but what we are going to do in the future is something different. So what do you want to do in the future? Well, let's start from what we want to do now, because we've talked together some 15 days ago, but many things have changed in 15 days. You said your end of the year estimate was to have -20 or maybe something better. We are closing stores in France, and so on. Last year, you had a 2.4 billion profit. -20 is about 500 million. Yes, but day after day, every Monday, we have to dismantle what we did the week before. We are not pretty strongly in the luxury world, but we have to change our data and provisions day after day on all our markets. We've started with 54 markets with different realities, and every day the situation changes. So I would say the first thing here to have is patience. Keep calm, don't be stressed, don't convey pessimism to the collaborators. We need this idea. Okay, it will be over. It's like when you work in farming. Okay, maybe it has rained too much or too little. Okay, but it's going to pass. Because we have seen that when people can go to the stores, they are happy to buy. So we've had positive results from this very past period. We have had good results at the level of online commerce. But stores play major roles for us. We have 5,000 stores. So apart from those that are being closed, what about your opening plans? Did you keep up with them in 2020? Well, I've said we don't have to make any decisions under stress. If we have made any long-term decisions, we have to keep calm. We don't want to spend for rents for major stores. We know that people are not actually going out so much due to all the COVID restrictions. So considering all the problems we are having in our own domestic households, that's quite clear. So it's like battlefield where many small battles are being fought. I don't know whether that's going to take short or long, but the possibility of having different alternatives for shopping places, online purchases, well, probably the most important destinations will lose some ground. What's the weight of e-commerce for you now? Well, we started from very low levels, around 4-5%. We are now around 10-12%. But with peaks like with Falconeri brands around 25%, countries with 40 and 50% of online sale like in Germany. So it's a really variegated situation, but that's growing anyway. So you said now on average 10%, maybe 10-12% at the end of the year. Yes, but it's growing more and more. We are talking about over 100 million euro, yes, online, from online commerce, which is definitely not bad for us, not negligible. And are you managing e-commerce in-house? Yes, we have done that since the very beginning. I believe that the difficulty for all of us now is that all stores need to face a competition because you have to keep up with what your competitors are maybe innovatively doing. Saying that is one thing, but realizing that in practice is not the same. But what about the profitability of e-commerce nowadays? Is it similar to the other sectors? Well, like in all scale economies, you have to invest. If you reach some levels, it can be profitable. You were talking about Falconeri before. Well, I must say that I have one of your stores close to my house, and I stopped there. I noticed that you sell men's coats, so I wondered what's your strategy, total look. Well, Falconeri's strategy is to be a knitwear store, particularly a cashmere knitwear store. Then menswear, okay, I need to buy something here and that. Well, they do not only buy sweaters. However, we mainly point to cashmere knitwear or actually precious knitwear in different seasons. With Falconeri, we are performing the brand repositioning because we have taken advantage of this COVID pandemic moment. Because for us, our type of consumer wants to spend less to reposition the brand within the group DNA is to offer other quality at other prices. We had competitive prices before, but they were not perceived as so competitive by the people. So you've seen our communication had cashmere 149 euro. But where do you source fiber? From Mongolia? Absolutely. How do we do that? The scale economy again. We do not have any intermediaries. Where is it produced? Cashmere is produced in Italy. Yes, we have our own factory in Avio, close to Trento. You have lots of factories. Yes, we do. And I'll give you a piece of news here. People do not only die for COVID, but we also have cancer and heart infarcts. We have other problems. We have factory in Ethiopia for Tezenis, and there's a civil war breaking out there. So in addition to the preoccupation of the expatriates that need to be brought back home, we also are worried for the fact that the factory may go destroyed, and the employees who had started gaining their own money, well, they are back to disaster. But we do not know what's going to happen. What are you going to do there? Delocalization, maybe? Well, yes, there's this question of long chains, short chains. We have lots of our own factories in Sri Lanka or in the Middle East. It's an important factory, but we can delocalize that because we can find production capacity. We have invested a lot of money and much energy, so that's really a problem for us. You were talking about e-commerce. Your business model is mostly based on franchising. I think you have well, half of our stores are directly owned and managed, the other half in franchising. Well, consumers actually want this real omnichannel to take place, so we need to find a model that can involve several partners. So how are you doing that? We are working on that. Well, consumers first came to buy in the stores. Now they are gone online, but well, yes, at the beginning, our partners were quite worried, but then we involved them, providing them with an interest in what they are selling. We involved them in several activities. The regulations, particularly here in Italy, are not supporting us here because, as you know, since the introduction of the electronic store bill, as a matter of fact, you should return any possibly faulty product. You actually need to return it in the same store where you bought it. So this is not what our consumers expect. We needed then to talk to the government. We have actually worked it out on the Intimissimi chain with some investments, but this is what our customers want. And that's the same thing whether they are returning an item that is worth 1,000 euro or whether that is worth 5 euro. Clear. But what about the future? Do you think you are going to increase the weight of franchising segment or direct-owned stores? Well, we are trying to optimize both formulas, and we have great franchisee and great directly owned stores. We are trying to manage depending on the geography, the investments, and the people, because people are in charge of the stores. So one more problem of offline brick and mortar stores. As Capasa was saying, it's difficult to find a model maker, but it's also difficult to find shop assistants and people who are keen on doing that, who are capable of doing that, who are interested in doing that. Also, because that's a job where you work on Saturdays and sometimes also on Sundays. Well, is this situation spread and common? Well, the more developed the countries are, the bigger the problem. It is quite difficult to find, for instance, good shop assistants in Northern Europe, because if I go to the store and I find a person that gives me an added value, I go to the store, but otherwise I go online. But how many employees do you have? At the moment, we have about 37,000 employees. Yeah. More or less, in total. Actually, one of the key factors is really managing the human resources, letting them grow, retaining them. Did you have any markets performing better or worse? What did you understand from this situation? Well, we have understood that being on a market is quite committing and demanding. Unfortunately, in Europe, each country is different from the others, so you have to get to know the situation of competitors there, of the retail situation, location, communication means. And again, today, this is not only a problem with Italy, where each single region has their own regulation, but the same comes with the Länder in Germany. So complying with the regulations, understanding the different types of incentives or employee benefits. So we are in a quite discontinuous situation because we are now here, but if everything can change. Well, we are better in those countries where we have been rooted for long now, where markets are more mature and where brands are better integrated. Because of course, when you go out and you say, okay, I need to buy a bra, you actually do not go to the different stores to see which is the best one. You go to your favorite store. So there's an accumulation accumulated advantage, which is stronger compared to the markets where you are new. Well, you closed 2019, which is history at the moment, with an EBITDA over 600 million. So you have the resources as a company. In this context of crisis and difficulty, do you see any opportunities for acquiring new brands? Well, the question of acquisitions in the retail world, I remember also always TWA when I was a child. As a matter of fact, they actually went bankrupt after some. So there's an aging of the retail chains. So maybe it's much better to start a brand from scratch. Also because, well, Golden Goose is 1.3 billion, okay, but there's an inflation of the values of some companies. Well, some companies are jewels in the crown, so they have value which is exceeded. But if you, it's just like when you buy an old car at the car dealer, it's going to be quite difficult for us now to find some interesting positions, but we are assessing them. And since we are the stock exchange, a healthy company does not need capitals to set up the own balance sheet. But in view of visibility and future, well, I do believe in the value of family-owned companies that in these moments can say, okay, I'm not gaining profit for 1 year, 2 years. Okay, that's not a problem. It's not going to be that how. My 3 children want to work, so if they want actually to be listed at the stock exchange, that's their problem. Yes, they are quite fine. Thank you, Sandro. Thank you very much.